a question I like to pose to people, because it's a personal question and a personal decision, is what are the realities of your life? What are the repercussions or the positives and negatives, pros and cons, however you want to phrase it, of focusing as intensely as you are right now on your financial well-being? How is that helping these other 7 dimensions? And how is it harming? And then again, it doesn't mean we just shut off the financial and we say, okay, screw it, I'm just not going to deal with my finances. But it might be about, I'm imagining like dials. It might be about dialing down the financial one a little bit. So maybe you were saving 65% of your income, but you realize you haven't had a day off, you're burning the candle at both ends, your anxiety is really bad, physically you haven't moved your body in an exciting way, you can't think of the last time you like caught up with a friend. Maybe it's time to dial that down to like 45% or 30% and dial up those other areas. Or maybe you say, you know what? I'm in the prime high earning years of my life. This is going to be a 1-year sprint where I just go all in. And I know that I might lose some friends along the way and I might struggle physically, but it's worth it to me, right? You have to make the decision about what matters to you and about which of these dimensions are worth sacrificing or aren't.
Yeah, right. It's the idea of trade-offs. Like,
Yes,
what are the
absolutely.
trade-offs that I am willing to live with in this moment to
Yes.
get to a particular outcome?
Yes.
And I know for me, for a long time, I traded off my health and my mental health for work and finances. Right. And that is not something I am willing to do anymore.
Absolutely.
That is not a trade-off that I am willing to make at all. I will dial down work long before I will dial down mental or physical well-being now at this point. And, you know, sometimes it takes a wake-up call for people to realize that. It certainly did for me. And so, yeah, I think it's, I don't know. I feel like one thing I want people to take away from this is like, you don't need a wake-up call. Like, you don't need to get to a situation that is like so bad that you like have to dial your work dial down to 0 because everything else is a 0 and you have to like build them back up before you can do anything else. Like, you can simply say like, things feel a little bit out of whack right now.
Totally.
My work dial is at 70%, you know, and my physical health dial is at 10%. You know, and my relationships are at 20%. This is not what I want it to be. You know, and people can make choices proactively based on those things. Yeah, I really hope people take that away from this conversation.
I so want to echo what you just said, because I think the sexy stories about turning your life around often come when a person hits a breaking point. They were struggling so much with substance use that they knew they had to get sober. They were so burnt out at work that they had to take a 6-month leave. And we do not owe it to anybody, particularly ourselves, to be so fried to deserve a break. Sorry, I'm full of like cheesy therapist isms, but I'll just leave this one. I'll throw this one out there. You know, oftentimes if there's a wall there, it might not be to like bust through. It might be to lean on and to rest. Right. So thinking about what are the areas in my life where I need to pour into more to take care of myself, knowing that these are the things that help us to be able to enjoy the financial independence that we so desire, right? We all know this, again, logically. What is the point of, you know, having a Scrooge McDuck pile of money if you have no friends, no loved ones, no hobbies, and no physical, mental, or spiritual health to speak of? Right? Most of us don't want that. We want the financial dependence so we can take care of our mental health, spend time with our pets and travel and, read books, right? Those are the things that most people want. They're not like, I want to be rich just so I can be isolated and in a tower. To date, I haven't heard that.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, yeah, I think focusing on like, what is this all for? Like, why am I like, what's the purpose? Like, why do I want to be financially independent? Right? It's so that we can live a better life and we can focus on all of these different areas of our lives. And so, and I think focusing on all of the different areas to different extents at different parts of our journey is incredibly important and prepares us to be able to, when life shifts, right? We have sort of more complex self-identities and are able to absorb the challenges more.